Hello, this is Mohammed Aslam Mirza. I'm going to start this podcast for the business leaders, business managers, professionals, and all prospective leaders who are interested to know and find out the second opinion on the issues we are facing in the business these days. So, with this, let me take you to the area uh, where the uh, where the approach is to bring the solutions through the different practitioners and professionals who have been in business for a very long time and have been successfully advising, practicing, and moving their businesses in an effective manner. So today, luckily, we have got a very learned person, uh, Rosemary, who have very extensive exposure to business and industry, and particularly in project management. And before I go into details and ask for her introduction in more details, let me take you through the area of the podcast which is more important for you to understand. Well, this podcast is run by PM Strategist Corner. That is the name of the company, which is providing the services and bringing the learned experience professionals to share their perspective and share their knowledge for the advancement in the business in the present time. So that is the area where it is important to see that organizations are there to find out their advancements with the value of the perspectives provided by the other experienced people. And that is important because without that, you just cannot move on with the advancements, approach of uh, the required solutions and advancements, because the approach in the present time is such challenging that whatever you are doing may not be enough, may not be successfully take you to the required level of success. So for that, you need to understand what is more important and what next can help you out. So for that purpose, the podcast is there to help you in that perspective. The agenda for the advancement is introduction to PM strategists. That's I have already provided to you. The purpose I have shared with you briefly. The inside views I'm going to bring to you through the learned speaker, and then finally what the services are available through the PM Strategist Corner. So this area I have already brought to your understanding that the purpose is essentially to bring you a second opinion, which is very important in the present time of challenges. Whatever you are doing, you want to learn that whatever is being done is correct and will bring you the desired outcomes. And for that, this podcast is going to bring you the help. Uh, uh, my introduction, I have very extensive exposure to strategic project management, and in that area, I practice project management to bring value to the business industry. I will only draw your attention to my 4 books, which is written under the theme of Aura. Aura is AURA. A, go for applying project management principles for organizational transformation. U, go for understanding human factors and workplace environment. R goes for respecting diversity, building team, meaningfulness, and growing to leadership. Again, that goes for agility in project management and collaboration. So these 4 books are there to bring you the understanding of the knowledge which is applicable in the present time of challenges. And together you can definitely make success. And this book is available. These 4 books are available on Amazon. Here I have Rosemary Hossenlopp, who has very extensive exposure to business and consulting, and she is practicing project management in an effective manner. And she has been in profession for quite some time, and we are lucky enough to have her opinion and her learnings to go along with the challenges in the present time. I may not be successfully present her in extensive exposure to the business industry. For that, I will request Rosemary to please briefly share her intro so that our prospective participants can learn who are they are going to learn from. Rosemary, please.
Thank you so much, and so delighted to catch up with you again. So I'm Rosemary Hossenlopp. I was Silicon Valley based, also did a lot of time in Washington, D.C. So I have both business and government experience working with technical teams to help them accomplish the outcomes that they need. So I'm catching up, and so I'll be issuing my 4th book, AI and Project Management, in early 2026. I'm excited about this topic because whether you're starting a startup, a global, or you're running a global organization or a nonprofit, or you're in government, there's a lot of business complexity. It's one of the defining challenges of current project management landscape. And it's not just that things are changing faster, it's that everything is becoming more interconnected, more interdependent, and therefore harder to predict. And so today I want to explore on this podcast, what does business complexity mean? Why is it growing as an issue, and how project professionals and their leaders can navigate it. So I'm going to be sharing some examples, real-world patterns, and strategies. So may I dive in and define what business complexity is?
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I will take you there just in a while. Thank you very much for your introduction. Okay, here is the extensive exposure Rosemary carries, and she has brought you to some understanding, but we are going to listen the suggestions and the guidance she's going to provide with the strength of her exposure she carries. Here, I would like to understand the business complexities, which are listed down here briefly to bring you the real value, that how it impacts the businesses and how it brings the challenges to the businesses. I have put them into 4 categories: external, internal, operational, and strategic. Why? Because then it becomes much more easier to understand and to find out the solutions, and to understand what solutions is applicable in what area. So I would not take much of time, because we have to listen to Rosemary, because that is more important. But just to bring you the understanding that these 4 areas of complexities listed down here are important, because external complexities bring change and impacts on the internal aspects of the businesses, which impacts on the operational advancements, and all these 3 brings the real challenge for the strategic advancement. So in this way, these 4 areas needs to be worked together and needs to be found out the solutions in a way that you are able to move on with the businesses in the present time and to make success in all time to come. Before I go into the area of complexities, let me ask Rosemary the very first question, that how she feels that she was able to help the businesses she was working with or she was advising, and they were able to make success through the hard time, particularly the COVID-19 and thereafter. So that is the first area, and then I will move to the second, but let's listen to Rosemary, how she was able to help the businesses to move successfully in that hard time. Dr. Rosemary, please.
That's a great question. So COVID-19 really changed all of our leadership styles, but we really needed to define what environment we were facing. So was it a complicated environment? So you can throw some really smart engineers and team resources at complicated problems. And you can get to a high degree of confidence that you will, if you spend $1 million, you'll be able to get a return on investment on that. COVID-19 it basically introduced us to complexity. Complexity, it means that there's a lot of interdependencies, and so it could be human behaviors, and I'll be diving into some other, dynamic systems, but think of coordinating a global launch with changing regulations, shifting customer needs, cross-functional teams. And so that's adding complexity. And so during COVID-19, if we had $1 million to spend on a project and it was allocated, we couldn't be assured that it was going to provide us a return on investment. So we really needed to double down during the pandemic and afterwards to really think in a risk-driven way. What are the areas that are driving complexity, and what are we going to do, possibly even in a pre-mortem, to understand if this project is going to fail, what would be some of those drivers of failure. And so it truly brought risk planning, because we could not be assured of success during that pandemic environment.
That's great. That's great, because that's very true, because that is how it went on, and it has overhauled. I must say, I don't know that word is right for the businesses, but that is what, especially the human beings, their mind was changed, and then people were forced to think the thing in a different manner and find out the solution out of the box most of the time. Earlier, it was the only challenge that few of the top managers were supposed to look into out of box. But now every level and every manager is required to find out solutions out of the box. Well, that's how the life is, and probably these challenges are going to help the businesses and the professionals to move in an effective manner with the additional knowledge and additional learnings. Thank you very much, Dr. Rosemary, that you have brought us that understanding. And let's now find out from you what you think to manage the businesses to move on in the present time challenges and to create that level of strength and competence in the organizations and the professionals, that they continue reaching to their desired outcomes in their endeavors and reaching to and sustaining their growth. Dr. Rosemary, please.
So I'm not a doctor, but through my decades of experience, I certainly feel like I've earned that titling. So I think that there's two audiences. And so if I talk to project teams, how do we handle it? I try and, because I do a lot of consulting, I get thrown into rescuing projects. I get thrown into broken organizations, or I run to organizations where I can help them. And so I am dealing with the project teams. I'm really trying to improve the risk planning in regards to, have we fully, comprehended all of the risk factors on the product, hardware, software, infrastructure. What are the people issues, the dynamic issues? What are the process changes? What are policy changes? And what are the politics changes? And so got to have a framework. And so I can land on my feet within a couple hours of just listening to say, do we have a comprehensive risk plan? So that's audience number one, project professionals. Risk planning isn't just for the newbies. It's for us, even very experienced folks, to be able to invite conversations with leaders. What are the ways in which I want to talk to leaders when there's a lot of churn and change going on? In the last assignment was to start a technical PMO to be able to move an oil and gas portfolio to the cloud. And so when I talk to leaders, I have 6 drivers of complexity. So I have you beat by 2 of them. I think that there's structural complexity, large teams, distributed locations, matrix reporting. And so, I mean, in other words, there could be a pharma company with researchers in 3 companies, regulatory teams in all continents, manufacturing in another. So that's structural complexity. Number 2 is technical complexity. Unproven technology, especially as I'm working with data teams to introduce AI-powered initiatives, implementing AI-powered forecasting. There's going to be some technical complexity there. The uncertainty complexity, shifting priorities, and increasingly unstable markets due to tariffs, due to some changing political landscapes across the globe and unclear requirements. So customer expectations can change mid-project because of these, or maybe competitor moves. And so we have, again, structural complexity, technical complexity, uncertainty complexity. The next thing is pace complexity. Oh my gosh. I mean, we need to wear tennis shoes rather than high heels. You probably don't wear high heels. I still wear heels even after the pandemic. So the pace is really faster now than the speed of decision making. And so organizations might be adopting AI-driven cloud strategies, but there's new vendor offerings every day that are going to change the business solutions, technical solutions, the return on investments. So the speed of change is a lot faster than the speed of decision making. And human complexity. I know I'm simple to work with, as all people in my professional and personal life say. That's not true. But leadership alignment, team culture, communication styles, emotional dynamics this can sometimes be the biggest driver and the least visible. And so just as an example, not sharing names, but transformation initiatives that I've worked on can really get slowed down by senior leaders disagreeing on success metrics. It really ties up the monthly check-ins. It ties in slows down the phase gate meetings, and it just creates an uncomfortable theater where there's political theater rather than just focusing on getting stuff done.
Very right, and very to the point. You have pointed out how to go about. Okay, so that's how you covered the advancements, and you think that AI is going to help their decision making, because you said right now that the change is taking faster than the decision making. So how to balance that up?
So I think that leaders first need to recognize that there is an issue. And a lot of times that's the most difficult thing to do. So we need to figure out how complexity shows up on a project before we can throw a tool at it. And AI is a tool. It will complement, but we need to have good frameworks and good problem-solving skills to recognize that we have a problem, because we're not going to make any changes unless we have a problem big enough to solve, it's worth solving, and it needs to be done now. So what are the drivers? What are the symptoms that I'm always analyzing as I get thrown into new consulting assignments, new leadership positions? I'm looking for a decision paralysis. Maybe there's too many stakeholders, too much data, not enough clarity. And so to a certain extent, we don't need AI. we need somewhat of old-fashioned governance that is simpler. How do we take time? How do we drive decision-making down in the organization to be able to make decisions faster? And so at a large Silicon Valley company, I created for senior leadership basically a pyramid to say how many decisions that they could make. They didn't even know how to pronounce my last name, but they didn't argue with me about being able to do a decision-making agility. Oh my gosh, I just have so much fun consulting. Any thoughts on that before I go on to other symptoms that we need to recognize?
Very right. Yeah. Okay. In fact, that brought to my mind that when you say that you don't need AI in every area, I can feel there would be many people who would say, "Oh my God, how come this is not true?" Because they feel that AI has to do in every area. So, but very rightly you have said that those areas where you can make the best use of AI to make faster decisions and to make advancements in the best manner. That is like assessment of the risk, assessment of the future. In there, of course, you can get the use of AI. So what do you think that how leaders should evaluate their advancements and how should they go about with the application of AI?
Fabulous question. I'm loving AI because I'm writing a book on AI and project management. It's an important tool, but again, we need to be able to recognize symptoms of what needs to be solved in our organization rather than running in with the tool. And so decision paralysis is a symptom that needs to be solved, and there needs to be a mindset change or cultural change management done on that. Requirements drift is also a symptom. And can AI help with requirements? Absolutely. But if in fact a stakeholder changes and then escalates their need politically, it may not be appropriate what the needs are. AI is not going to stop bad input. It's going to be leadership will to be able to say, how do we have governance around the requirements drift so we can be effective in doing our agile planning, maybe a shorter cycle, and do education to new leaders who are being, disruptive by saying it's going to be my way because of my industry experience. That's especially true in the government, where there's a lot of people who are coming in from industry into the government and saying how things need to be done. And it's just we need to protect the requirements life cycle to be able to, if in fact there's value with that based upon understanding of how we create value, whether we're government serving the public or industry serving in revenue end users. So decision paralysis and requirements drift, they're going to be aided by AI, but it needs to be recognized that this is a problem in the organization. Also, communications overload. This is really where AI can come in, because there's so many communications channels, but people feel very, very misaligned right now. And core team members don't know priorities. They don't feel empowered to say no. They feel no agency to say no. And so we're saying yes faster, and we're getting exhausted. I also think that there's another symptom that shows that we're probably not ready for an AI improvement initiative. It's shadow work and invisible dependencies. So teams may discover late in the project that there's additional requirements that didn't surface earlier. And so it's a governance issue. We didn't hold end users responsible for signing off on requirements, or they weren't the correct stakeholders to provide requirements. So there's undocumented workarounds that are, if in fact we go live, we're going to fail, very, very early on, either in the smoke test or in the first week of production. And so if in fact we're not recognizing the symptoms of an unproductive and inefficient environment, we're going to get burnout, and people are going to feel overwhelmed by constant change. And so we need to see these patterns, and we can propose an AI solution, but we need to get a buy-in that there's an urgent need that we need to solve now. So thoughts on that?
Okay. Yeah, very right. Very right. Because to make the best use of AI can only be when you are getting the inputs from AI in the way which is required for your advancements, and how best to do that. That is the basic thing. Very right. Okay, so let's move on, and let me share what PM Strategist Corner services can bring to the businesses. It helps diagnostic assessments of gaps in strategy and execution, strategic alignment, and discipline strategy execution, because this discipline strategy execution is the most challenging in the present time, particularly. The strategy execution is definitely, every organization is doing it, but do you have a discipline on that advancements? Probably in most of the cases, no. So that assessment has got to be made, and the gaps has got to be addressed, and to bring the discipline to the advancements in the strategy. That's the area where PM Strategist Corner can be helpful, and can bring you the value of the services with PMO functions. And if you have, the organizations have the PMO within the organization, it can help out the PMO and bring them the optimization in their functions and help them how to move on. The third area is change management and the cultural transformation. In the present circumstances where change has become the need of the day, and there the change management has got to be dealt with, because when organizations are able to change with the moving with the changing requirements, that brings the added value, and that brings the competitive edge. And to get that, PMO Strategist Corner can help them in building their change muscles. So that requires to deal with culture, because without supportive cultures, you cannot think of moving with the change, you cannot think of moving with the advancements. So that is the area where PMO strategists can definitely help you in the advancements of the business, and developing your project teams, your organizational teams, and on top of all, the collective flow of business, collective flow of organization. That is the bottom line needed in the present time. This all requires to be carried out with the leadership, and without having a strong leadership, your organizations cannot move on, and their PMO strategists can bring you the systems and the training for the development of leadership. And that is essentially the versatile leadership. And that the versatile leadership can help you to develop the culture, can help you in change management, can help you in PMO advancements, and can help you in diagnostic assessments of the gap. So these major 4 top areas are the challenges of the present time, where PM Strategist Corner helps you to move on with the business and do the business in the most effective manner. Further on, this all requires training, and that training is also provided by PM Strategist Corner, and there it primarily helps to build resiliency and adaptability in the teams and the leaders. It helps to enhance communication and collaboration. Rosemary also pointed out the importance of the communication, which is the backbone of any organization to move on. And that requires systems, that requires collective, that requires the channels which needs to be understood and needs to be defined so that you are able to design your communication to be put into effect. And of course, without having strong communication, you cannot think of collaboration. So the collaboration and communication go hand in hand. Driving innovation and creativity. Well, the innovation and creativity is not now the responsibility of the top managers or few managers. It is required to be carried out by every manager at every level. So for that, you need to have a system, you need to have an approach which needs to have the understanding, and your team must be prepared for that. And that learning is to be carried out, and there the PMO strategists can help you. Developing strategic thinking and problem solving. The strategic thinking is something which needs some special open-mindedness, and that needs some special mindset. So this can be developed, this can be managed, and PMO strategies can help you in making that happen. So briefly, these are the areas where PM Strategist Corner can help you with building all these requirements. With this, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your attention. And you are welcome to ask for value of PMO Center of Excellence. If you want to understand what value is, you can reach out and you can learn what and why this is important and what it can bring the value to your organization. There are the training sessions available with the project management setup. PM Strategist brings that training that helps reskilling, upskilling, and reshaping of the teams, and to help them to move on. And then the experts consulting services, you can always reach out for the services which are required for the present time advancements. And you can definitely build your organizational strength for moving to the desired directions, to the desired outcomes of your business objectives. Before I close, let me go back to Rosemary and find out if she has anything additional to share which comes to her mind. Please, Dr. Rosemary.
So my first thought is you may already have teams to be able to do strategic planning. You may have a team to do PMO, but in this AI-driven world, we really need to be heading not to one answer. In other words, create the budget, create the strategic plan, but we need to be thinking about more potential scenarios. And the scenarios could be cost spike, it could be supply chain disruption, it could be manufacturing issues. And so basically AI-driven PMO lift and assist can help your teams think differently about the many scenarios, and it will help it think faster to be better prepared for your future. And also our role as consultants isn't to simplify the world. We live in a complex world, more interdependencies, more moving parts, but to help teams such as yours make sense of it. And when we do that well, through analyzing what you have right now, making recommendations, putting that in place, training on it, we can enable innovation, resilience, and real organizational growth. So thank you so much for letting me be on this podcast and be able to share my future. And it's an exciting future in an AI-driven project management world.
Thank you very much, Rosemary, for your valuable inputs and valuable guidance and valuable advices that will definitely going to help the business leaders and business managers. And before I close down, let me put forward my apologies. I have been calling you doctor. In fact, somehow that was fixed on my.
I love it. I love it. I'll take it.
I love it too, because I want to call you doctor, because to me the level of knowledge and level of experience you carry is, of course, is much more than a doctor, because doctors I know have got a very specific special area of knowledge, whereas your knowledge has got a very strong and broader perspective.
Encyclopedic. It's I've appreciated working it with the industry and being able to help them think through complex issues.
Thank you very much once again. And with this, let me close it down. Thank you very much.